we can for a moment focus on the great Faustino Asprilla. I mean, again, I'm sort of juggling a few things. I'm desperately wanting to talk about the game, but I just want to give a bit of a prelude, because in that 5-0 game, he looks like the greatest centre forward of all time. But before the game, it wasn't all plain sailing, was it? I mean, the archetypal party boy, there was a lot of stories around there. And after the game against Argentina, when they'd won 2-0, he'd gone out and got drunk, and he was thrown out the squad. Is that right?
That's right. But it was mainly because he'd been dropped for that game against Argentina. Mm-hmm. And in typical Tino style, he went off in a sulk, and the following morning disappeared, did a runner. But there's a prelude to this, and that's at the 1993 Copa America, where he's picked for the squad, and that tournament's held in Ecuador. But he only turns up just after the quarterfinal match, because he decided that he would go to a Caribbean island with one of his female friends, and turns up at the airport without a ticket, and the flight's full. So there's a huge scandal where he said, "I'm getting on this flight," and he turns up for the quarterfinal, for the semi-final. He starts the semi-final, and that's where you can start to see that while the drug aspect and the narcos are important in this, there are other factors. And the unity within the squad isn't as what many believe, because, Tren Valencia, who was at Bayern Munich at the time, he does an interview after that Copa America, and he says, "Look, I'm going to start today." It was a friendly against the United States in preparation for the World Cup qualifiers. But as soon as Tino arrives, I know he's going to go straight in the team. And so there was, Maturana always saw him as, he's a good kid, you just got to look after him, that he had special treatment. So yeah, he does a runner from the Colombia squad after that game in a sulk, and the Colombian FA president says he's not wearing the Colombia shirt ever again. But 2 days later, he backtracks on that, and things aren't going too well in qualifying, but they still clearly got a really good team. But I think Colombia go into the game against Argentina playing for the draw. And there are a lot of talk. There's a lot of talk here that is Bolillo, the more defensive-minded coach who sets out the tactics. And I think Tino almost plays on the right wing in a 4-5-1, and it's more that they're going to soak up the pressure in the early. And there's a lot of the Argentinian press are nervous. They compare Pibe Valderrama to Adolfo Pedernera, who was one of the greatest. So this is really, they're talking of him as one of the greatest, comparing to one of the greatest Argentine players of all time. They're talking about how worried they are about this, how slow their two central defenders are against Tino's speed, and he rips past some players at times in that game. And I think there's one quote where he says that, they're going to have to wear ice skates to keep up with Tino. And just to mention the arrogance, in Colombia's most famous commentator, in his preview to the game, he's just about they're just about to kick off, and he says Argentinians think after God come them. It's not the saints or the angels; it's the Argentinians. But today we're going to shut up Maradona's big mouth, because these petulant. Guys, we're going to show him who really plays football. So I think already Colombians are feeding into this idea that this is time to give Argentina.
But I kind of think that's where Asprilla is so important in the squad. So there's the incident after the semi-final of the Copa America, when Redondo is having a go at the Colombian fullback and sort of saying, "I earn so much more than you." And then Asprilla sort of goes, "Yeah, but I earn a lot more than you." And Redondo goes, "Yeah, but you're not as pretty as me." And then, they get to the airport and they're in the bus, and there's Argentinian fans hammering on the window. And Asprilla's response is to get some dollar bills out of his pocket and start fanning himself with them. So that, and on the
he loved it.
The game, he gets out his fancy European mobile phone. He goes over to the hardcore Argentinian support and holds up two fingers to say, "I'm going to score 2 goals today," which of course he does. So.
He loved it though, Jonathan. I think he probably wanted that.
Yeah, but I can see both sides of it. I can see how Asprilla is massively disruptive, but on the other hand, when you're in that kind of environment, to have somebody who does not care must be brilliant. Cool. And just on the subject of Asprilla, and I don't want to just plug Blizzard pieces all the time, but the photo essay we did when we sent a photographer to spend a weekend at his ranch is one of the best things we've ever done. That is extraordinary what he gets up to. Dressing as a dinosaur riding a horse.
I once went to his. I once went to his ranch, and it was a Sunday morning, 9 o'clock. We arrived, and we walked into his living room, and he says, "Okay, I would like to present you to my my wife number 1, wife number 2, and wife number 3." And we started doing the interview, and wife number 2 isn't wearing a bra, and she's quite flaunting her assets. And Tino's just staring at her entire time. We just have to keep stopping the interview. So, Tino, can you concentrate and look at the camera? And that's the way he is. He's so unpredictable and such a vital part in that team. But as things turn out later, he's also a massive disruption, like you say. And he ends up having physical fights with the Colombian press and within his own team. And there's a clique that starts between Pibe and between Tino. And between the two, they have certain members of the squad who are following them, and this breaking squad unity becomes really important in the disaster that was the World Cup the following year.
Yeah, I mean, but it's classic.